Namaskar. First off, I want to delineate the protests happening across Punjab, Haryana border with the protests of farmers happening across Europe. The two are very different and they are not at all connected. Some people are connecting the dots. It is very, very incorrect. So I will tell you why that is. And I will also explain to you how deep state appears, because we are connecting the dots here in this presentation. It's a little bit of a detailed presentation. I would urge all of you to stay till the end, and also please like this video, and also if you have not subscribed, please do subscribe to our channel. So here we go. I'm going to start with a slide deck on what exactly is the deep state's intentions behind trying to create some sort of a food crisis. And as part of that, the conflict in Ukraine has only helped them. It has only made their hand stronger. Here we go. Can we have the slide deck, please? Europe's farm protests and deep state's agenda. Next. So why are the farmers protesting in the streets of Paris as well as in Germany, in many, many towns? They are bringing tractors in and they are protesting. What exactly is going on? Well, this is something because of the EU policies. You might remember that United Kingdom finally gave up on trying to fall in line with these EU policies. That's why the Brexit happened. We remember that. So now many other countries, because of this EU body setting rules for all the countries, they are finding that anybody who has an agenda can just influence this body and get whatever things they want as rules made that will apply to the entire European Union. And the farmers are seeing that they are getting the short end of the stick. And I'll explain to you why that is happening. First of all, the farmers are, primarily in France and Germany, because these are the bigger producers of agriculture. Many other countries are there, but they are not in the same scale as France and Germany. So we have to look at these two countries and what led the farmers to come up to their cities to explain why they are protesting. They are saying some of the new EU policies will make them get out of business. Why will they go out of business? Let's take a quick look. Next one, please. In most countries, farmers say they are not paid enough and are choked by taxes. By the way, guys, more or less 50% of what you make gets taxed in Europe. Again, people will kill me and say, no, mine is only 34%. Look, anything beyond 10 to 12%, personal income tax is pretty high in my opinion. And unfortunately for the farmers of Europe, they have to still pay income tax, unlike the farmers of India who don't pay income tax and they demand everything and anything. In most countries, the farmers say they are not paid enough. They are choked by taxes and red tape and excessive environmental rules and blame cheap food imports. Where did the cheap food imports come from? Just watch. Next one, please. Large amounts of imports from Ukraine, for which the EU has waived quotas and duties since Russia's invasion, and renewed negotiations to conclude a trade deal between EU and South American bloc has made the farmers suffer because the pricing of the food from these places is much lesser than what they can produce it for. You have to understand one thing. So you can say, well, your production is not efficient enough, but that doesn't tell the entire story. Can we turn off the overlay, please? And the farmers resent the imports because they say they put pressure on European prices while not meeting environmental standards imposed on EU farmers. Just keep this in mind. Somebody who is producing rice, wheat, anything else in, say, South America will not be subjected to the same environmental restrictions as the farmers of Europe. That's one of the reasons why the prices go up. Of course, the standard of living in Europe is higher. Therefore, the cost of living is also going to go up. The cost of production of grains is also going to go up. The way this was being balanced was that EU had quotas. Like, for example, Ukraine could only sell so much per country in the EU. And that is now being broken down because they're saying, well, Ukraine needs money, therefore you need to take down all these boundaries. So suddenly what is happening is that European EU farmers are now being forced to accept cheaper imports, and they don't have a way of selling their produce. The alleviation of that has not happened. On top of that, the sanctions that have been placed by United States and EU on Russia has made it impossible for some of them to even pay basic bills like electricity bills, heating bills, gas bills, and so on and so forth. These are becoming a huge problem. They feel that the cheaper imports will completely engulf them and devour them. Nitrogen emissions are being looked at. Small and medium farmers are saying that they are being arm twisted and forced to sell or lease their lands to MNCs, and that they think will completely wipe them out because it's a one-time sale, right? And if everybody is selling, the buyer is having the upper hand. He can dictate the price. So what the MNCs are doing as a group, and I'm going to tell you the details of who I think are part of this group, and how they are coming together to somehow force the production of grains, food across the world. I think there are some standouts, which is why these people don't want Modi or the BJP in power in 2024 onwards. They'll do everything that they possibly can get away with to destabilize the Modi regime from now until the elections. Slashing farm emissions critical to fighting climate change, says John Kerry. This one guy, I'm telling you, he's probably done more damage than many other countries put together. So you have, climate change. What is the climate change problem? Those who are having chicken farms, beef farms, all these people are being asked to adhere to climatic requirements, and that means that they have to pay more, and also they're being told day in and day out. And this is true though. Beef production creates a carbon emission far in excess of what fossil fuels do. This is the truth. So then what has to happen? The world community as a whole needs to move away from beef eating and go to other things like, for example, plant-based foods, or there are some people who are trying to chemically create something that is made out of edible food, but it tastes like beef, for example. So these are also going on, but it's going to take some time before that becomes mainstream. Next one, please. So fallow land is, in my opinion, land that can be cultivatable, but being asked to leave it for something. Don't use this part of your land. Like 10% you leave it for fallow because we want to keep it for something else. What is that? They are saying that there is EU, if you want EU subsidy, then you need to set aside so much land and you should not cultivate there. So this is something that they are saying that is because of excessive bureaucracy, and French farmers say that their government compounds by over-complicating implementation. On the one side, the carrot is that they will give you subsidies. The stick is that you cannot cultivate the entire land that you have. You need to leave some out. And the Commission this week responded by exempting EU farmers for 2024 from the requirements to keep some of their land fallow, not using it for a period of time, while still receiving EU farm support payments, and they would need to instead grow crops without applying pesticides. The pesticides thing is a problem. We agree, because that leads to cancer. You know how Punjab is now completely consumed by this problem, that 40% of the youth in Punjab have cancer. There may be some drug also related to it, but it has something to do with excessive pesticides being put to produce 3 crops a year, and also it has created other problems, like, for example, it has become carcinogenic. Next one, please. Impact of fuel costs. In Germany and France, the EU's biggest agricultural producers, farmers have railed against plans to end subsidies or tax breaks on agricultural diesel. So there is something that is set aside for agricultural diesel to power, for example, the tractors. They have subsidies, just like the Punjab farmers have. And for that, the Greek farmers, now they want to take out that subsidy, so that again will drive the cost. On the one side, the produce is not getting sold. On the other side, their input costs are going up. Why would you not be unhappy? Paris and Berlin have both relented on the pressure and rolled back on their plan. So at least they are continuing the agricultural diesel subsidies for now. Greek farmers are also up on arms about the tax on diesel. They want that to be reduced. So we'll see how it goes. But all these things are like kicking the can down the drain, down the road. What is really the solution? I've already told you. People have to start changing their food habits. Especially consumption of beef is one of the things. I'm talking not about farmer having 5 or 6 beef that they once in a while they'll kill one because it has become unproductive. I'm talking about beef farms, and these things I have seen some in the United States. From 5 miles out, you can smell them before you even see them, and they're all given like enough space for the beef for the cow to just stand. And that's all. They have to sleep standing. Probably they can sit down with difficulty, and they optimize the thing. They feed him some stuff that will make them fat, and then they kill them. But in doing this process, the amount of carbon emission that takes place is unbelievable. Professor Arvi and I did a couple of programs on this early on, like 6-7 years ago, saying that beef is the biggest footprint for carbon, and people don't want to admit that. And instead, they go about it in a roundabout way. Next one, please. Protests are now spreading. They are not just limited to France and Germany. They are spreading to Italy, Spain, Romania, Poland, Greece, Germany, Portugal, and the Netherlands. It started with France. So that's why I didn't put, I've been mentioning loosely both Germany and France. But these are the 2 biggest producers there. That's where you're going to see the maximum amount of noise. Next one, please. What exactly is the deep state up to? So through EU, some legislation is being passed. Is it something that the deep state is instigating? That is the question we're going to try and answer in this part of our slide presentation. It is really scary that the deep state is attempting worldwide to take over the entire food chain, including agriculture, farming, water management, seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, trading, etc. If you start somebody, they're going to listen to you no matter what kind of rule you'd say, because they have to live. The need to live will essentially override everything else. Didn't Gandhi say that even God cannot talk to a hungry man except in terms of food? That's the point. Next one, please. Some of the big deep state funded entities are Cargill Incorporated, BASF, Archer Daniels Midland Company, ADM, Bayer AG, Wilmar International, Bunge Limited, Nutrien Limited, 𝗣𝗚𝗂𝘁𝑗, Associated British Foods PLC, and CHS Incorporated. If you look at this previous thing, I told you about all the different sectors in food production, right? Pesticides, seed companies, so on and so forth. Everything is covered here. Next one, please. In place of loans given by the USA government through the deep state military industrial complex for arms and ammunition at 60% of the actual cost to Ukraine. So there are some hanky-panky things going on here, trying to, play with numbers, if you will. And you can look at this in more detail. You'll have to pinch your screen to look at that. And we're going to try and give you all the links that we have used to put together this story in the description section. So you can go and read that at leisure, because there's many more things that are coming up. BlackRock plots to buy Ukraine. This is the other interesting thing. Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, has mortgaged 30% of the land area of Ukraine, mainly very fertile agri land of Ukraine, to these entities through BlackRock Ventures. Next one. A report from the Wall Street Journal claimed BlackRock was one of the several major investment firms distorting the housing market. So this happened from the 2008 crisis, because you had a hairdresser having 5 homes. Hairdresser, 5 homes. That was the kind of extreme loan giving that was taking place in the United States. So what happened was, when the thing crashed, when the real estate market crashed, a lot of homes came for dirt cheap. So some of these companies who had a lot of money have gone and bought up all these homes. And they are sitting on a big pile of homes, and then they try to dictate the price of what price the homes have to sell. The only way to break this is the people who are investing in BlackRock take out their money, in which case the BlackRock management will be forced to offload these assets at a low price. But then that's the thing. I mean, between BlackRock, Vanguard and State Street, I've told you this, their combined management asset value is $23 trillion, almost the same as the GDP of United States. Too big. You can't touch them anymore. The report laid out how BlackRock and firms like it are using their massive amounts of capital to buy up single-family homes, jacking up prices in the process. Memorandum of Understanding was signed by the Ukrainian Ministry of Economy and BlackRock Financial Markets Advisory in DC on November 10th, 2022. The promo said that BlackRock FMA would advise the Ukrainian government, specifically the Ministry of Economy, on an investment resulting for the reconstruction of Ukraine's economy. Destroy it and then go back and say, we are going to help you rebuild the country and make money in the process. Next one. Deep state are dumping dirt cheap Ukraine grains into the neighboring countries of East Europe, which is affecting the agri farmers and the markets of these countries and making them bankrupt. This is actually where I started out, right? Next one. Bayer is to invest a total of 60 million euros in its Ukraine seed production site. USAID announced that USAID's Agricultural Resilience Initiative, Agri, is expanding its partnership with Bayer. Bayer will provide an additional 15.5 million investment in Ukraine for innovative technology, new donations of high-quality seeds, and farmer safety campaign. A new report from the Oakland Institute exposes the stealth takeover of Ukrainian agricultural land known as the breadbasket of Europe. Yeah, breadbasket of Europe. The report found that as a consequence, 28% of the country's arable land, that is agricultural land, was acquired by oligarchs and large agri-businesses, with the largest landowners controlled by foreign actors. Next one, please. Ukraine's most landholding firms are substantially indebted to the World Bank and the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, which have invested close to $1.7 billion in the sector in recent years, giving them financial stakes in agri businesses. This raises larger questions considering Ukraine's ban on foreign ownership of land. So any foreigner cannot own land in Ukraine, but that doesn't apply to BlackRock? What is going on here? Ukraine's crippling debt is being leveraged by financial institutions to drive post-war reconstruction towards further privatization and liberalization in several sectors, including agriculture. Next. Why is Bill Gates buying a lot of land in especially the most fertile lands in the United States? Is he being backed by the deep state? See, this is the problem. Even George Soros, right? Soros is not putting his own money. He has become the face of some of these, regime changes, open societies, all that BS that goes along with that. Same way, Bill Gates, remember, he has been talking about how the population of the world is going beyond control, that something has to happen, and that's why COVID happened. Anyway, this is just one theory. Next one, please. Most fertile agricultural lands of Africa and South America too are being cornered by the deep state entities. They have not left any continent alone. Next one. Arab royals from Saudi, UAE, Qatar, etc. are also buying up huge agri land parcels in Africa. Well, this is just like, you have to follow the herd and at least try and reserve some space for themselves. Push comes to shove, at least they can rely on these lands to supply them grains. Next one, please. Indian investors buy farmlands in Africa. Did you know that Bharat, agricultural farmers from Bharat, especially from Punjab and Andhra, are the most favored buyers for the African countries as their conduct has been very ethical so far. Well, Indians know how to farm. In fact, there was a country called Ecuador which had invited Punjabi farmers to come and farm their land, and in exchange for that, Ecuador would always raise the issue of Khalistan. This happened in the 80s and 90s. I think now it's not as hot as it used to be. It used to be a real blow-hot relationship between Punjabis who wanted Khalistan and Ecuador. And I think it is believed that many of them have since migrated to Canada. Next one, please. Rumors say that Shashi Tharoor also has leased/bought more than 40,000 hectares in East Africa. And this individual hasn't even been in power for long, maybe 5-6 years. Anyway, that shows you how much money you can make if you are willing to be corrupt at the union ministry level. Next one. The earlier UPA government was forced to sign certain World Trade Organization documents which were detrimental to Bharat's interests. Nirmala Sitharaman, as Commerce Minister, diluted all those clauses, and Bharat is now almost out of trouble, still not fully out of trouble. Next one. Food security will be the buzzword across the world during the next few years. Foodflation will run amok worldwide due to the calculated moves by the deep state. Fortunately, we have a good government under the benevolent PM who is securing all the measures inside the country to avoid food inflation and food shortage. Next one. The recent launch of Bharat rice at rupees 29 per kg is the first salvo fired by the Modi government against the deep state. Let's hope that it doesn't get bought in volume and then get smuggled out of the country. Next one. Embargoes on wheat, sugar, potato and onion exports will be implemented soon to help Bharatiyas. Next. I think that's the end of the slide deck. So we have a lot to ponder over. Again, we are just connecting the dots here. No deep state is going to come out and say, yes, we are doing all these things and you can't do anything to stop us. They will do the same thing without saying it. That's how it goes usually. So thanks for listening to all this. Let's take a few questions now, please. Jairam Gopalan Iyer wants to know, deep state fears Bharat? Deep state does not fear anyone. I mean, they are too big to be afraid of anybody. They've been running the world for the past several hundred years, 200-300 years easily. What they want, they'll try and achieve. For example, what do you think is happening in Myanmar? All that unrest, is it possible that they are trying to flood India with immigrants, illegal immigrants? It's very, very cheap for them to do that, or even instigating this farmer unrest in Punjab. See, there is a law that says that tractors cannot be plied on national highways. Then why did the Punjab government did not stop these people as soon as they got on the highways? Bhagwan Singh Man, stop drinking for a few minutes. Try to answer some of these questions. Magnet Ranga wants to know. I'm sorry, I missed the last question. Yeah, thank you. Magnet Ranga wants to know, Jai Shri Ram, when the deep state is supposedly controlling the government itself, why is there a need for protest to achieve their own agenda? No, farmers are a proud group of people. They would like to work. They would like to work and raise crop, sell it and make a profit. What is wrong in that? What will they do? If cheap imports flood, then they stop farming, and within a few years, nobody knows how to farm. Is that what you want to bring? So these are all very deep-rooted ideas. I think things have to stop, and I'm hoping that the governments will see reason. Not all governments are completely sold. They do push back sometimes, but then there'll be regime changes, of course. These are all an ongoing process. Politicians need to be more morally strong, have to have a backbone, should not be corrupt, should have the public seva in mind. So a lot of things that need to happen, and that's not what a typical politician today is. Next one. Kaiser Soze wants to know, for a comprehensive overview of regime change toolkits developed by Deep State USA, please invite Mike Benz, Foundation for Freedom Online, to your show. Will do. Thank you. Next one. Romi Bhutani wants to know, Sirji, is there any study available on prop beef industry emissions restriction impact on the dairy industry? Dairy, I'm not sure there's a correlation. Beef industry itself is huge, and many of these cattle don't give milk. I mean, there may be some, but these are all just being reared just to be killed and produce to make beef out of their meat. Next one. Nitin Jain wants to know, sir, I heard Bill Gates buying more and more land in US and recent agri-based protests. Is there any hidden agenda? I told you, right? He's as complicit in the deep state as this fellow. What's his name? George Soros. Next one, please. DM wants to know, how is wind energy or renewable energy shaping up across the world? This is a moving target. The best way to do this thing is to have good, robust, efficient nuclear energy. That is the safest. It doesn't endanger the environment, except for making sure that you know a way to dispose the fuel rods. Beyond that, there are not many challenges. Anything else, there's a percentage issue. How much percentage of energy conversion does each of these technologies, wind, for example, or solar energy, or any other thing. Hydroelectric is safe, but how much water do you need for that? So there is a challenge. There's a limit on how much you can use for to generate hydroelectric power. And if they are doing it, and it is happening, but it needs to be, more needs to be done. Next question, please. Kishore Vangal wants to know, can you name some of the Indian entities owned or controlled by the DS? We'll have to do a separate program on that, so watch out for that program. Next one, please. If rice is going to be 29 rupees per kg, with the cost of procurement or government going to be lower than that, or will government subsidize the rest from the fund? Think of it this way, Arvind. Now, 80 crore Indians are getting free rations, right? How do you wean them off of that? Tell me. They are getting free right now. So from free, isn't it better to have 29 rupees a kilo? That's what's going to happen. They'll say half free, half you can get it at 29 rupees. And then that half will become quarter free, 3/4 in the market. That is how you wean people off of these free subsidies. It's a very good idea if it can be put to work and implemented. And that's it for us today. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.